We've all watched the shocking video. It's chilling. A career criminal, DeCarlos Brown Jr., a violent schizophrenic with 14 prior arrests and prison time for armed violent crime, is sitting on a light rail train in Charlotte, North Carolina. A young woman, Irina Zarutska, boards the train and sits in the empty seat just in front of him. She's a refugee who fled the Ukraine war with her family. They were living in a bomb shelter in Ukraine. They came to the United States for a better life, and she is savagely murdered on the light rail train. She was on her way home from work. She worked at a pizza restaurant. She's still in the uniform. She's also a model. We can see her photos on Instagram. This was a beautiful young woman, just 23 years old, with a promising life ahead of her. The criminal, DeCarlos Brown Jr., age 34, never should have been on the streets. Cashless bail, which is one of the unholy precepts of the progressive ideology. Now, it's one of their litmus tests. Cashless bail must take part of the blame. Cash bail isn't designed to make money for the state or to punish poor people, as the progressives claim. It's designed to keep the public safe from violent offenders. Now, the murder occurred on August 22nd while the criminal was on release in a different case, which isn't surprising at all. Now, what was the charge? Abuse of the 911 system. He made several calls to police and asserted he had man-made materials in his body that were controlling his actions. The progressive magistrate judge and progressive DA at his bond hearing had access to his violent criminal rap sheet. We've all watched the documentaries about serial offenders who hear voices telling them to butcher people. Now, mentally ill people do commit crimes, and it's rare for an insanity defense to succeed. Extremely rare. The progressive DA had the offender released on a written promise to appear at the next hearing. And that's the problem with progressive DAs. A lot of them are in denial of reality, and they're campaigning all over America to be elected DAs. What are their campaign promises? Cashless bail. No misdemeanor prosecutions, although DUI can be a misdemeanor. DUI not resulting in death. So they don't even prosecute until someone dies because they refuse to acknowledge one of the purposes of law, public safety. Enforcing the law would have prevented senseless murder. Now, the DOJ is stepping in because there's no indication that the state prosecution for first-degree murder will bring about justice from the progressive prosecution. The investigation is ongoing as well. There could be enhancements to the sentence or an additional charge if they find the murder was racially motivated or gender motivated. The DOJ is bringing a federal charge, committing an act causing death on a mass transportation system. The death penalty is authorized under the statute because mass transit is central to the life of a community. If people don't feel safe on mass transit, they won't use it and the community crumbles. Now, the federal prosecutor in Charlotte has said he used the light rail just 1 week after Irina's death and saw people on the train who shouldn't be on the train, but no one checks tickets. DeCarlos Brown Jr. didn't pay the fare to get on the train. It's been reported that the light rail has become a mobile homeless shelter. And we see that so clearly from the video. When the violent offender gets up and starts to swing the knife down, who else is in the video besides Irina? There's a lady in red and 2 men seated behind. Now, after the criminal leaves the scene, he walks up to the next train car. Now, these other passengers don't help Irina at that point. She's bleeding from her neck and losing blood. She loses consciousness, and they still don't help her, even after the violent offender is no longer in view. It seems the coast is clear at that point. Now, this surveillance footage is a picture of what society becomes when the progressive agenda takes control of a city. The people of the city come to understand that violent offenders won't be prosecuted. Instead, Good Samaritans who intervene to stop violent crime will be prosecuted instead of the violent offenders. Now, I'm not excusing the conduct of the bystanders on the train. Fear of prosecution, for example, didn't stop Daniel Penny and the others who intervened to stop the offender in New York City on the transit system. But Daniel Penny is an ex-Marine. Now, he was trained to do what's right despite the consequences. But a free society shouldn't be punishing Good Samaritans. It should be punishing criminals, violent offenders. The progressive agenda has it exactly backwards. Cashless bail doesn't work. No DUI prosecutions doesn't work any more than the seizing the means of production rhetoric, which is violent rhetoric. I mean, what was DeCarlos Brown Jr. doing on the light rail, skipping the fare? He was seizing the means of production and turning it into a mobile homeless shelter. He was acting like he owned the place and had the right to be there. Now, the progressive politicians want power. They want control. They don't care if America burns to the ground in the process. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.